So the question is, what was your worst day as an Agile consultant? And I think the worst. Well, was it my worst day or was it the customer's worst day? The worst day I actually think of is going into an organization. I'm going to be on site for a week, so I'm consulting, right? I need to help them fix their stuff. And I get into the office, shown to a cubicle. This was in the US. So I got shown to here's your desk for the week. Shown to the cubicle, sat down, and then the person that sat me down disappeared. And I was sitting there for, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours. Nobody had come by. Nothing was going on. So I called my boss at the time, Steve Borg, and I said, I'm just sitting here, by the way. They're not doing anything. He's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Well, just sitting in this cube. Everybody's disappeared. And he's like, oh, let me see if I can find anybody. He made a few calls. They weren't ready for me yet. So he called me back and he said, we've booked a flight for you. Just go to the airport and come on home. And it took the customer 3 days to realize I was no longer there. Took them 3 days to realize that I'd just gone home. That's how long it took them to be ready for me. And that was 3 days into a 5-day engagement, right? So that was probably the worst day for the customer. They just weren't ready, right? They weren't ready for any sort of change. They obviously weren't ready to listen, and they weren't ready to do that. But on not ready to listen, I also did the same engagement 3 years in a row with a customer. Same time of year, same group of people. They would invite me to their organization. We'd sit in the boardroom. They'd talk about all the stuff they're doing. I'd give them a bunch of advice. I did a whole bunch of interviews with everybody, lots of different people at different levels in the organization. I created a lovely report. This was the first time I went. Lovely report on here are the things you need to fix, the things you need to try, changes you might want to make, things you might want to do. And then I would come back the next year and they'd be like, yep, we've done none of the things you said. Let's have a chat and figure out what we should do next. And it was exactly the same things because nothing had changed, right? And I would come back year after year to the same company for the same few days on site with the same group of people who would agree that they haven't done anything to change anything. And then we would maybe troubleshoot some small issues around the edges and help them out. But again, that's not a good day as an Agile consultant because you're not making progress. You're not helping the customer. You're not providing them with value, right? So I always feel like I work with lots of customers, and if I'm working as an Agile consultant and I'm not getting fed problems by the organization, right, to be able to help them out, I'm going to wander off. Right, and I'm usually pretty clear. If it's a longer engagement, I'm usually pretty clear on that up front, right? If I feel like I'm giving you a bunch of advice and you're just ignoring it, then maybe we're not a good fit and I shouldn't be here anymore. And I think those are the days that kind of suck, is when nobody's listening to you. You're saying this thing's going to happen if you keep doing it this way, and then you've just got to sit there and watch them fall into that trap. And then they come to you and say, "Oh, we're so broken. Can you we're totally hosed now. Can you help us fix it?" And it's like, well, no. Like 6 weeks ago when I told you about the problem was when you could have fixed it. Now you pretty much want to pay the fine for non-contract completion and walk away, because that's all you've got left. I think those are the days that kind of suck as an Agile consultant. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please like, follow and subscribe. I always reply to comments, and if you want to have a chat about this or anything else Agile, Scrum or DevOps, then please book a coffee with me through NKD Agility.